Hello, I'm sitting in what used to be my sewing room, though now it's been converted into what my daughter calls a wellness station. Do you see those orange prescription bottles lined up on that white shelf behind me? 18 of them. Each one has a printed label with my name, Margaret Chen, and very specific instructions about when and how to take them. My daughter Rachel organized them by time of day with little color-coded stickers. She's very thorough, very efficient, very convinced that she's saving my life. I'm 78 years old. I was a chemistry professor at the University of Minnesota for 42 years. I taught organic chemistry to pre-med students who went on to become surgeons and researchers. I published papers on molecular structures that are still cited today. I raised 2 daughters as a single mother after my husband left when the girls were 5 and 7. I did all of this without anyone managing my pill schedule. But 6 months ago, I made the mistake of mentioning to Rachel during our weekly phone call that I'd been feeling tired lately. Not sick tired, just the normal tiredness of being 78 and having lived a full life. That one comment set off a cascade of events that has led to me sitting here in this room, surrounded by medications I don't need, living in a house that no longer feels like mine. It started with what Rachel called a family meeting. She flew in from Seattle with her husband, Marcus, who works in pharmaceutical sales. My younger daughter, Lisa, drove up from Des Moines. They sat me down in my own living room, the room where I'd hosted decades of dinner parties and book club meetings, and presented me with a binder, 43 pages long with plastic sheet protectors and colored tabs. Rachel had created a comprehensive health management plan for me. It included a proposed medication regimen, a list of specialists I should see, recommendations for home modifications, and a suggestion that I consider moving into their guest house in Seattle, where they could keep an eye on things. Marcus did most of the talking, using terms like preventative intervention and quality of life optimization. He explained that given my age and my family history, my mother had died of a stroke at 81. It was irresponsible not to be proactive about my health. Rachel showed me statistics on her laptop about fall risks and medication adherence in elderly populations. I sat there listening to them discuss me like I was a research project, using that careful, gentle tone people use when they're trying to convince someone of something they've already decided. When they finished their presentation, they looked at me expectantly, waiting for me to thank them for caring so much. Instead, I asked them who had diagnosed me with all these conditions that apparently required 18 different medications. The room went quiet. Then Rachel said the words that changed everything. "Mom, we don't need to wait for you to get sick. We can prevent it." I didn't move to Seattle. I'm stubborn, and I said no. But Rachel is more stubborn, and she didn't give up. She just changed tactics. She started making monthly trips to Minnesota, staying for long weekends, each visit bringing more improvements to my life. First, she hired a cleaning service. I told her I was perfectly capable of cleaning my own house, that I'd been doing it for 50 years. She said it was a gift, that I shouldn't have to worry about vacuuming at my age. The cleaning people came every Tuesday, moving my things around, reorganizing my kitchen cabinets into a system I didn't understand. Then came the medical appointments. Rachel had somehow gotten herself added as an authorized contact on all my medical records. She scheduled me with a cardiologist, an endocrinologist, a rheumatologist, a neurologist. Each doctor ran tests and found something that could potentially, maybe someday, become a problem. High cholesterol that was actually perfectly normal for my age. Blood pressure that fluctuated slightly. Vitamin D levels that were suboptimal. Each diagnosis came with a prescription. Each prescription came with Rachel's careful instructions and her color-coded scheduling system. Within 4 months, I went from taking no medications to taking 18. My kitchen counter turned into a pharmacy, and I started to feel worse, not better. Dizzy, nauseous, confused, tired in a way I'd never been before. The breaking point came 3 weeks ago. I woke up one morning and couldn't remember what day it was. Not in a vague way, but completely blank. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the pill organizer Rachel had set up on my nightstand, and I couldn't figure out which compartment I was supposed to open. Tuesday? Wednesday? Was it morning or evening? I called Rachel in a panic. She immediately said she was booking a flight, that this was exactly what she'd been worried about, that clearly I needed more support. She arrived the next day with Marcus and more brochures, this time for memory care facilities. That night, after they'd gone to sleep in my guest room, I sat in my kitchen and looked up every single one of my medications online. I read about side effects, interactions, contraindications, and I discovered something that made my hands shake. At least 6 of the medications I was taking could cause cognitive impairment, especially when combined. The very pills Rachel had organized so carefully to keep me healthy were making me confused and forgetful. I made a decision right then. I gathered up all 18 prescription bottles, put them in a box, and hid them in my basement. The next morning, I told Rachel I was fine, that I'd just been tired, that she should go home. And the moment her plane took off, I stopped taking every single pill. Within 5 days of stopping the medications, my mind cleared like fog, lifting off a lake. The dizziness stopped. My appetite came back. I could think clearly again. I realized with absolute certainty that I had been chemically managed into dependence, not by some evil conspiracy, but by a daughter who loved me so much she was terrifying herself into controlling every aspect of my health. I made an appointment with my original doctor, the one I'd been seeing for 20 years before Rachel's intervention. I brought the box of medications and asked her to review them honestly. She looked uncomfortable. She admitted that Rachel had called her multiple times, had sent research articles, had insisted on aggressive preventative treatment. My doctor had gone along with it because Rachel was so insistent, so educated sounding, so convincing. Margaret, my doctor said quietly, you don't need most of these. You're a healthy 78-year-old woman. Yes, your cholesterol is slightly elevated, but that's normal for your age. Your blood pressure is fine. You don't have diabetes or heart disease or any of the conditions these medications are treating. I asked her why she prescribed them if I didn't need them. She looked at me with tired eyes and said something I'll never forget. Because your daughter was more afraid of something happening to you than she was of nothing happening to you. I'm recording this today because Rachel is flying in tomorrow. She doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to tell her everything. I'm going to tell her that I've stopped taking the medications, that I've canceled the cleaning service, that I'm declining any future medical interventions unless I choose them myself. I'm going to tell her that I love her, that I know she's terrified of losing me, but that managing me to death is not the same as keeping me alive. I'm going to tell her that I'd rather live 5 more years on my own terms than 15 years as a managed patient in her guest house. She's going to be angry. She's going to cry. She's going to tell me I'm being irresponsible and stubborn. And I'm going to hold firm because I didn't survive 78 years, raise 2 daughters alone, and build a career in chemistry, just to spend my final years as a color-coded medication schedule. If you're watching this and your children are starting to manage you, please hear me. Resist. Your life is still yours. Don't let love become control.